Regular meeting,
Okay,
Township,
Clerk Leomi, if you could,
We will do it.
9/12/22.
motion on the table to approve,
Kowalski, who is.
trustee Elecna, trustee Lucas, and supervisor Prater to be on this meeting via Zoom.
He needs help.
Second.
Motion made by trustee
And waves.
I'll make the motion to accept, yeah.
Alt, seconded by
I'll second
trustee
it.
Hacker. Thank you, sir. Any questions? Hearing none, go ahead and call the roll, please.
Trustee Bowles,
Here.
trustee Hacker,
Here.
trustee Lucas.
To be an aye.
We should be ayes.
Yeah, it's I.
Aye.
This is for
Oh, yeah, aye.
trustee Elecna
Here, right.
Here.
and
Aye.
all right, supervisor Prater.
Aye, thank you very much. Moving forward, go ahead and call the roll call then.
Okay. Trustee Bowles,
Here.
trustee Hacker,
Here.
trustee Lucas,
Here.
trustee Elecna,
Here.
supervisor Prater.
Here, thank you. Please everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the
to the
flag
flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
for which stand
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
That must be the 7 second delay.
Yeah, it was
It
Like
was.
it was in a stadium.
Yeah, it goes in the.
Play ball.
Okay, we got review and approval of the minutes from the regular board meeting held on August 8th, 2022. Have a motion on the floor. I'll make a motion. Thank you, trustee Elecna. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, trustee Bowles. Any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Trustee Bowles,
Aye.
trustee Hacker,
Aye.
trustee Lucas,
Aye.
trustee Elecna,
Aye.
supervisor Prater.
Aye, motion passes. Public comment. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak? Please at least state your name.
All right, who's first?
Okay.
Yeah, because my name is Cyd Paulsen. I live on Jefferson Street in beautiful Winfield, Illinois. Thank you for letting me go first because I have a 98-year-old father at home with Alzheimer's who shouldn't be alone. He was a top turret gunner in a B-24 in World War II and a Morse code radio guy. And he is one of the people who would avail themselves of a 708 mental health board. I'm here to talk about the mental health board referendum, why we need it, but first I need to dispel a couple of myths. The 708 board is not a duplication of services. It, by its charter, may not approve things that are duplicate services. So saying that it was a duplicate service is a falsehood and would just be stirring the pot. Secondly, although the township may approve 0.0001% of assessed value as a tax, the typical township, and there's almost 90 708 boards now, charges $20 to $30 per household per year. Bloomingdale's is set at $21.40 per year for a $300,000 home. Milton is $16 for a $300,000 home, which is $32 if you have a nice big $600,000 home. So even if you're rich, it's not going to cost you more than a lunch out a year.
Recording in progress.
And that year. And that's per year. The beginning was not recorded?
Yeah, the beginning of the meeting was not recorded. For some reason, I thought it would start automatically.
Do you want me to start over?
If you'd like, you can.
I can.
I have it in the official minutes, the audio recording on. The full amount is in the audio recording for the minutes, but not on the actual Zoom, which will be uploaded to YouTube.
Okay, then I would like to begin.
Okay.
I'm Cyd Paulsen. I live on Jefferson Street in beautiful Winfield, Illinois, and I'm here to talk about the 708 mental health boards, why we need it, and the myths that have been promulgated about it. Number one, a 708 board is not a duplication of services. It has a charter. It can't fund duplicate services. Saying that would be a falsehood and what I consider to be stirring the pot. Number two, although the township may approve up to 0.0001% of assessed evaluation as a tax, the typical township, and there's almost 90 in this state now, approves $20 to $30 per household per year. Bloomingdale's is set at $21.40 per year for a $300,000 home. Milton is $16 per year for a $300,000 home. So even if you were rich and had a $600,000 home, it would cost you $32 a year, or the cost of a one job. So if you said that it costs you personally $178 per year, that would be false, a lie. It's really going to be more like the cost of a lunch. It's not an entirely new governmental board with taxing authority. It's a pass-through system. They don't tax anything. You, the township, sets the tax rate. The money goes to the 79 volunteers. The money passes to them, to the customers, the clients who need the services. They don't get paid. They're volunteers. It's a pass-through system. They don't have the authority to raise taxes. Here are some of the reasons we need a mental health board in the township, one that is local and responsive. The New England Journal of Medicine on March 2022 published a study showing a 25% increase in alcohol-related deaths in 1 year. That's 100,000 Americans in 1 year. The National Institute on Drug Abuse cited a significant increase in drug abuse and deaths from overdoses in the US since the pandemic began. In fact, 80,000 people, 81,000 drug overdoses deaths occurred in 12 months, according to the CDC. That's the highest rate ever in a 12-month period recorded by the CDC. In 2020, there were 45,979 suicides in the US. That's 1 death every 11 minutes. For every suicide, there are 4 hospitalizations for suicide attempts and 8 emergency room visits. There's a great need right now for mental health services, and taxpayers have a reasonable expectation of a return on their tax dollars. They should see services being provided because they pay taxes. This would be an excellent service to provide for your community. Now, I'm not talking about everyone, but some on this board do not have a great history with money. And I am talking about $200,000 that you declined from using for the indigent in the township. You have 3 purposes: the roads, assessing buildings, and the indigent, and you declined to use the money for them. You wasted $26,000 of taxpayer money on a lawsuit to keep candidates off the ballot. Even after 3 Republican judges said, the law is clear, it's easily understood, you appealed it, spent more taxpayer money on something that I think you knew you couldn't win. So this is your chance to spend taxpayer money on something that's helpful for the people in the community. I hope you take advantage of it. I hope you do it. It's a modest amount. It's not a duplication of services. There's a great need, and I hope you do it. When I saw the township newsletter that came today, I was less hopeful that you would do the right thing. And I don't know what governmental agency in Illinois oversees township members who do unethical things, but you know I'm going to find out. Thank you for your time.
Next.
Thank you.
Hello, how is everybody here tonight?
Good.
My name is Mike Murray. I live at 154 South Prospect Street in Roselle, Illinois, in Bloomingdale Township, and we are one of the 2 townships in DuPage County that has a mental health board, and I was very active in bringing that about. So that's what I'm here to talk with you about. But I'm also here to ask your help as trustees, because it's you that will explain to neighbors how boards work to make your community stronger. Since that is obviously too much to cover in 5 minutes, each of you has a booklet that was prepared to explain in detail what I'm briefly covering. It includes a League of Women Voters study, among other things. But one thing I absolutely know, and that's for everybody in this room and anybody that watches this video in the future, is that mental health, substance abuse, and the developmental disabilities in one way or another affect every one of us, and keeping with that, there are 3 questions though that people frequently ask about community mental health boards when I talk with them. And I've been working on this over about 9 or 10 years. So I have talked with many thousands of people. The first question people ask is, why do we need a mental health? Lots of people mistakenly believe that all the needs are met for those dealing with mental illness, developmental, and substance abuse. Well, we are very lucky in DuPage that we have a richness of trained professionals and providers. Still, many people are unable to access critical services. I'd like to quickly highlight 7 common reasons people cannot access services that mental health boards can address. And I bet you each one of you knows somebody in this search situation. The first is no insurance. And this figure comes from the DuPage County Health Department and their report. It's about 3,500 people in Winfield Township don't have any insurance at all. So obviously they can help. Second reason is insurance with high deductibles. Anybody know anybody that has a high deductible policy? Okay. And a lot of times that prevents people from going out to get help. You know, they say like, I just can't afford it. The second thing is a lot of people don't even know how to go out and find help. If you ever tried to look for help for a trained therapist, substance abuse, or for a developmental disability, it's tough. The system is very complex. And if you talk to people that have dealt with this already, most will say they are always learning new things as things change so quickly. And I bet you we've all experienced that with our insurance policy. The second thing is stigma. We're not second, actually we're in the fourth, sorry. Many people still look at mental illness and substance abuse and even developmental disabilities as a moral failing, as a sign even of weakness. That makes them unwilling to even ask for help. And anybody know anybody like that? I know a few. Another reason is transportation. Many people cannot even get to the services. I'm certain that among us here, we've taken off days to drive someone to a doctor's appointment, right? From our job or from the regular activities. Also medicated providers, if you're lucky enough to have Medicaid, are few in number. And that's because of the complex bureaucracy for the doctors and the hospitals and all of that, the paperwork and the rules. And the rates that are given by the state, some are even actually below the cost of the service. I think Medicaid was paying around $75 an hour. Rate for a psychiatrist is $250 an hour, and they're necessary to get medication. That law did just change, but it was. And besides that, frequently they give a limited number of visits. Like we had somebody visiting our Bloomingdale Township Youth Center that had schizophrenia, and they were seeing once a week. They were seeing a therapist there, and then when they transferred over to the county,
Just let you know it's your 5 minutes. I'm
Okay.
willing to give a couple more minutes if that's okay with you guys.
yeah.
Hey, point of order. I'm the one that's running the meeting, Mike. Thank you very much. I appreciate your help there. And yeah, I'd allow give him another 2 minutes. No problem.
I'll step it up. I'm hoping you're gonna have some questions for me too. Finally, there's waiting lists. Every place has waiting lists now. Usually 30 to 2 months. So what can mental health boards do? First, your mental health board will study your community and find out what is needed. Where is help needed? Second, your mental health board will set up 1 and 3 year goals. It says, this is what we got to do. This is how we solve these problems. Finally, your board will provide small grants, not big grants, okay, to both nonprofits and profit providers to meet the needs. And there's lots of different kind of grants. We do purchase of position mainly in Bloomingdale, but you can do fee for service grants, capital grants, lots. A couple of critical things, as Cindy mentioned, the grants cannot duplicate other funding. So if you're getting a grant from the state for something, you can't ask your mental health board that. But I want to tell you, there's a million things that are not covered. There's a million things that are not covered. And our nonprofit groups, like Easter Seals, NAMI, they spend about 60 to 70% of their time raising money, dialing for dollars. that's time that they should and would like to spend taking care of us. So remember that mental health boards are the funders of last resort. And
Thank you, Mr. Murray. I appreciate it. Moving on to the next citizen that would like to speak, please.
okay, all right, hopefully you'll have some questions later on.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Lynn Casey Mayer. I'm here as a citizen of Winfield Township. I live at 857 Honeysuckle Avenue in West Chicago. I received my Winfield Township newsletter on Saturday and was shocked to read what I can only call an opinion piece by Nicole Prater, Supervisor Nicole Prater. Is there very little, if any, facts in it? This is a taxpayer-funded newsletter, and the people of our township deserve the truth. The 708 Mental Health Board referendum is favored by both parties. It is not a Republican or a Democratic issue. It is about helping our community and keeping them safe. There are over 90 708 mental health boards in Illinois that coordinate services specifically for people with mental health issues, developmental and intellectual disabilities, and substance addictions. It is a volunteer board appointed by the township supervisor, so no money is wasted on overhead or accounting, as Ms. Prater stated. She claims there's no expertise at the township level for this. We have an RN on our township board, and the board will consist of community members, and I'm sure we will find experts to serve. Now, the tax levy's been talked about a bit, and I'll just reiterate that. It does have a cap of 0.15%, that is true, but most townships, such as Milton and Bloomingdale, have something much, much less. And Winfield would have something similar. We're looking at about $20 a year if you owned a $300,000 home. And these rates are at the township. It will be up to the 708 board and you to decide on what's a fair tax. This is money that is raised in Winfield and stays in Winfield. Ms. Prater cites NAMI in the newsletter and says they're doing a great job of helping people with mental health issues. I wonder if Ms. Prater understands what NAMI actually does. NAMI is the health department in DuPage. Their mental health services are for people on Medicaid and Medicare. They provide services using a peer support model. There are no psychiatrists or ability to obtain medications at NAMI. It is an adjunct to other mental health services. Services a 708 mental health board can provide. There are zero duplication of services, and it will help fill the gaps for those that do have good insurance. Waiting lists can be horribly long, months long, and a lot of people are in crisis and cannot wait. There are zero duplication of services, and it's the township that decides on the services they will provide. Just as examples, other mental health boards, along with Milton and Bloomingdale, provide services for preschool screenings, suicide intervention programs, social workers for police, employment vocational training for people with intellectual disabilities. Many of these kids age out of school and have nowhere to turn afterwards. Expansion of crisis intervention training for first responders who are known to have PTSD, especially after this pandemic. Mental health and substance abuse education in schools and support for their parents. At a recent education event in Milton, a student came up afterwards and said they were glad that they had came because he was thinking of suicide. Isn't a child's life worth saving? A 708 is about $20 a year. Very little for us to give, very much for those in need of service. Whether you're for it or against it, at least tell the truth. If you like, I'm happy to give a longer presentation on the 708 at your next meeting. Just let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Review and approval of the board.
Nicole.
audit. Yeah.
Nicole, I have one more to read from Sheila.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I will start it here. This is written by Sheila Rutledge to be spoken at the public comment. For public comment on September 12th, I was very disappointed to receive the Winfield Township newsletter paid for with Winfield Township tax dollars. Especially disappointing was the supervisor newsletter opinion regarding the 708 referendum question that will appear on the November ballot. Supervisor Prater lists mental health services available in our county, but she has no advice for those experiencing a mental health crisis outside of regular business hours. Currently, calls during hours are handled by the sheriff's office, by police officers with no training in mental health who often escalate what is already a bad situation. The 708 boards will allow those with training and degrees in mental health to respond to calm these situations. Her comments about this adding 3 times the amount of the current township levy is fear mongering. Based on my tax bill, I would pay $80 max a year to make sure that my fellow township citizens have greater access to mental health services. That doesn't sound nearly as scary, and I happily would pay that to be sure we don't have situations like Sandra Bland or others who were killed by police responding to mental health crisis. According to the Treatment Advocacy Center, people with mental health issues are 16 times more likely to be killed by police responding to a call. Since the primary responsibility of the township is general assistance, I am confused by the opinion of the supervisor. Even the head of NAMI has said that this will be an inexpensive way to get great things done. She currently has accepted a grant from the Bloomingdale Township and from their 708 funds. As a taxpayer, the supervisor can have her opinion, but she should not be using our tax dollars to try and influence the vote. So, signed by Sheila Rutledge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other emails in from citizens?
Other emails in from citizens, no other people here in the room except for our Blue Cross Blue Shield representative.
Excellent. Moving on then, review and approval of the board audit report for the amount of $259,807.12. I'll make the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by trustee Alekna. Any discussion?
Is this with the invoices from sorry, mine in order? Is this for my order? I'm out of order? No. Caroline Marketing, is it those invoices in there?
You're gonna have to look, I believe so, yes, they are, but the invoices should also be in the checks right in front of Mike there too as well.
Because we talked about this being bilingual. And I'm confused as to why it's not and why we pay for it without it not being bilingual again.
Okay,
This is the third conversation we had.
Yeah, I've got some discussion. This is Judy. I think what your column that you put out in this newsletter is just horrendous and a disservice, misuse and abuse of taxpayers' fund. And I cannot approve any funds spent on this. The question I have for you, Supervisor Prater, is that in the past, every time a newsletter goes out, you send it to the board and you get the board to vote on their approval and give you feedback. I know why you didn't. This is the only time you sent it out to the board without prior notice. So you can get, you can sleaze this letter in. And I think it's horrendous that you did that. Again, like I said, it's abuse of taxpayers' money, and I will not vote to approve this budget.
anybody else? Hearing none, call the roll on
Trustee Bowles,
This is to approve this budget and all the bills going out, right?
the bill line, yes.
All that
or not.
stack of bills going out.
Correct.
Yes.
Trustee Hacker,
Yes, everything except for that, because it's not bilingual.
trustee Lucas,
Nay.
trustee Alekna,
Aye.
Supervisor Prater.
aye, motion passes. Thank you. Unfinished business, the updated audit, it's for information only. It has all the proper dates from Sheldon Fox on there that we sent to all you guys there. So you guys can actually, the board can actually have a copy of the updated audit with the proper dates. Any questions on that?
No, I didn't get time to question something after what we just voted on. By the next brochure, we do what trustee Hacker's talking about. Make sure it is in Spanish.
Bilingual?
Yes. I think it's a need in this township.
Yeah, we can look into that for the next
Look into it. Let's get it.
August, yes, or January, I'm sorry, for January, when we get it together, yes.
for the spring one. I mean, we have talked about this before, and that's all I got to say.
And just a heads up to Nikki, Barb, and Judy, if the recording ends due to the Zoom meeting times of 40 minutes, which is in 5 minutes and 30 seconds, just re-enter with the same link. And
Okay.
start it back up.
Thank you. New business, monthly financial investment report for information only. And then we got review of Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance with John Casona there. How's it going, John? I'm bringing this up now because last year you guys said that it should have been brought up earlier, which I don't know how earlier I could have done it, but I'm doing it this time around. So John, please talk with us about our insurance. So far, everyone that I know that uses our insurance loves it and they want to continue to keep it. Yeah.
Okay, guys, how are you? My name's on the front, John Casano. So your group plan renews every December, okay? So what I'm gonna go over is, I'm gonna go over the current benefits that you guys have right now. I'm gonna answer any questions that you have. The actual renewal is 12/1 of 2022, coming right around the corner, a little less than 3 months from now. And we're just starting to receive, this is perfect timing, we're just starting to receive our 12/1 renewals, okay? Friday, they started getting uploaded in our systems. We don't have the Winfield one as of yet. I hope to have it probably by tomorrow or Wednesday. So what we do when we get the renewals, we receive the renewals, we'll take a look at it. We'll call Nicole and tell her where we're at this year with the renewal. And then we go and look at alternative plans, not only with Blue Cross, but we'll go out to market with other carriers as well, just to see, you know, as far as who's in the game here and if we need to make any changes or whatnot. Okay, and that's right around the corner. Is there any questions as far as the renewal timing or anything like that? So, and we did email electronic kits earlier this afternoon for the people that could be in the meeting. Nicole, did you disperse those?
Yes.
Thank you. So if you don't know the plan that you guys have right now for the township employees, it is a Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO, and that's on the first page of our kit that we have here. It's a very good plan, actually. It's the Blue Cross PPO, and it's the big PPO network with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. We're just about everybody's in, as far as doctors, hospitals, and so forth. There's an individual deductible of $2,600 and a family of $7,800. And that's the out-of-pocket maximums. I'm sorry.
It seems like a lot.
Well, you guys do something else too.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, you have an HRA, it's on the next page. Okay, actually, the
That
2,600,
hurt just looking at that.
but you know what though, it's actually, I've been doing this I've been in the business about 38 years. And the 2,600 deductible is actually not that bad. But you guys make it even better because you pay half of that deductible for everybody through an HRA. I'm gonna get into that, that's on the next page. And that's the max out of pocket also, 2,600 for an individual, 7,800 for a family, which means there's no co-insurance after that. After that, someone's met their deductible, they don't pay anything else out of pocket for any in-network covered charges the rest of the calendar year. And that's anything. And you can see right down the road there, prescriptions, emergency room and so forth. Once you hit that deductible, everything's covered at 100% by Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Now, page 2 of this talks about this HRA that you guys contribute to for the employee's deductible. Basically, you guys contribute 50-50 from $1, and that's fantastic. And you could see that in the little green chart we have here, where, you know, the insurance guidelines of a 2,600 deductible and the HRA, which is through Winfield, pays 50% of that. Again, family deductible, 50% of that, where the employee real out of pocket for the year is $1,300. So everybody understand that? So they get first dollar coverage at 50% right away. So, you know, someone goes to the doctor, instead of having a copay of, you know, 20 or 40 or 60 or $100 copay, they'll pay a Blue Cross discounted field, go towards your deductible. And then Blue Cross electronically sends everything to Envision Healthcare. That's who processes these claims on behalf of Winfield. And then they go ahead and pay 50% of that bill. So when you first rest yourself a little bit at that 2,600 deductible, you guys do a really nice thing here with the HRA, where you pay half of it. Well visits are covered at 100%. They don't even go towards your deductible or anything. If it's routine care, it's paid at 100% anyway. But everything else is 50-50 with this HRA. And if you don't know how the HRA works, the next couple of pages tell you how an HRA works. Basically, everybody that, all they do is show their Blue Cross and Blue Shield card at the doctor, at a hospital, at the pharmacy, wherever they go. They just show their Blue Cross Blue Shield card. Everything gets sent to Blue Cross and Blue Shield first, then it electronically goes to Envision Healthcare. Then up front for. You got the new one on?
Yeah.
Okay, good. The only thing anybody had out of their day-to-day services, the only thing anybody really has to upfront for is a prescription. They pay for a prescription at the pharmacy, and then they receive 50% back, probably around 2 weeks later, via electronic deposit into their checking account. So, max out of pocket for the year for a single is $1,300 because of the HRA. And this talks about how they process the claims, how it works. I wanted to give you guys the full. Everybody has access online to an online account with Envision Healthcare to check their claims. There's full customer service with Envision Healthcare, in addition to your Blue Cross customer service that everybody has. And Nicole, I don't get many calls from you guys with anybody saying, hey, this bill wasn't paid or that bill wasn't paid. So it must be pretty smooth. It usually is. It's like everything else. Once in a while, there's an issue, but then that's where we're there to back things up and make sure things get, properly processed or whatnot. Not everything's perfect. And then there's a couple of Q&As there as far as how the program works.
Excellent.
So any general questions on whether it's Blue Cross to start with, the deductible, or the HRA, the health reimbursement arrangement that you guys have? No? The next little sheet I gave there is just talking about your dental plan. 1,500 annual maximum when you're in network, 1,000 when you're out of network. Pretty standard as far as the industry. Either 1,000 or 1,500 insured deductible. Blue Cross and Blue Shield dental network. You got your 180-50 benefits, 100 for preventative, 80 for basic, 50 for major. And I like what you guys have here. You've got endo and perio covered in the basic at 80%. It can go that way, or it can go into the major at 50%. So it's always nicer when you have it at the 80% level for endo and perio. You have a nice benefit there as well. It does spruce up a dental plan a little bit. And then through Dearborn, which is now Blue Cross, Dearborn, if you got, everybody here knows if you've been with it for a while, it's, now it's called Blue Cross again for the life insurance. It was, Dearborn, Ford, Dearborn National. They finally got smart and said, let's call it Blue Cross and Blue Shield, the name everybody knows. That's where that $10,000 basic life policy is at with that everybody gets here, employer paid. The next page, I listed some rates here. The plans that you guys, and now these are the rates that are as of 12/1/2021. And I actually have here, I jotted down the last 3 years, how your renewals have been. As I said, we don't have the one for December. We probably are going to have it tomorrow or the next day. These are the rates, they're age rated. So an employee is one rate, depending on their age, their spouse is another rate and so forth. That's the chart on top. And then I believe everybody here does have access to the monthly bill, correct? Where you could see the people.
Yes.
We didn't list the people's names in here. I didn't want to list names and dates of birth and so forth. That would have been appropriate. So, but everybody here does have access to the billing.
Yeah.
And as you can see, the top is the age rated. That's how you guys have it set up. And then they do show, and we'll see that when we get the renewal as well, they do show a composite rate. Okay, so if there was any question that you guys have always had it on an age rate, even before I took over about 4 years ago when the broker prior retired. And you've always had it on an age rate. You could do age or composite. And all composite is, it's everybody divided by the amount of people, and then they come up with an average rate. That's what composite is. I did a little reflecting on, based on everybody's age and so forth. If you went with the composite rate, more people are gonna get hurt than the people that are gonna save a few bucks. And you could look at that, when you look at your bill, you'll see who's paying what. And I know internally you guys have dates of birth and so forth where you can see. But it's more people would get hurt with a composite rate for this group anyway. Which means your average age is probably, 50 and above for a lot of the ages that are on the group. They would save a few bucks on a composite rate, but it would hurt more of the youngers than it does the older, helping them for this particular group. But I have the rates up there and then the dental rates down below. And then the last couple of pages, we always list some helpful resources. You have, all the Blue Cross Blue Shield support, and then all our support on the bottom there. Our account managers, our administrators, my own number and so forth are on there. And then the last page itself is just a little bit about us at Valley and what we do as far as employee benefits, Cobra administration and so forth. Everything is done in-house for us, so we take care of all that as well. I was starting to talk about the last few years. So last year, the rates you're looking at now were about 4.89. That was about a 4.89% increase. The year before that, 12/1 of 2020 was a 2.66% increase. The year before that, 12/1 of 19 was approximately a 5% increase. Those are pretty good. Those are very good numbers, actually, as far as renewals over the course of the past 3 years. Now, our 11/1s and 12/1s that have come in so far that we've seen, they've been a little higher. We've probably seen, somewhere around 10 to 15% on a lot of our groups this past renewal coming around. And like I said, I should have yours probably in a day or two because we have about half of our 12/1s already that have been uploaded in the system. But your last few years have been very good as far as increases. I believe it's attested to having a higher deductible plan and putting an HRA in there. The reason you do something like that, instead of having a lower deductible with a bunch of copays, it's a proven fact that 90% of your claims are incurred by 20% of your employees. You could probably go run a claim report with 50 different groups and from a township to a mechanic shop to a car dealer to an accounting firm. And if you ran claims, you'll see that. So the idea behind an HRA is, take a higher deductible, save premium every month. But because of that, when claims happen, okay, we'll share in those claims. That's what you're doing with an HRA plan.
Okay, John. So other than, hold on one second, John. Until we actually have the numbers, which you're basically telling us for next year, possibly might be 10 to 15% increase from what they are now.
That's what we've been seeing.
Possibly. Does anyone have any questions about the plan that we have right now at this moment?
Yeah, as far as goes, anybody.
Because everyone that I know that has our insurance loves it at this moment. Don, any questions? Judy, any questions?
None for me.
Okay. Sean, you want to see anything different for this next year coming up?
I don't know, this is the policy I have, so how does it compare to that?
Well, this isn't going to give me a lot because it's only your card. In fact, it's not even giving me much. It doesn't give me your co-pays and so forth.
I don't have any,
Okay.
I rarely see a bill.
Oh, hold on. Carpenter's welfare. Well, you can't compare it to that. Come on. Give me a little break.
I'll give you my Medicare, this is probably better.
Okay, guess what? Are you on Medicare? You have Medicare and a supplement?
Braces right now, braces like $3,000 a piece.
Double that.
7, 8.
Thank you.
7, 8.
Yeah.
6 on low.
How many of our employees have kids that look like they might be needing braces?
Yeah.
That one that I saw that I was a little worried about.
Yeah, and you know what? With ortho, you have $1,000 lifetime benefit. And guess
Is
what?
that per family or is that per person?
Per child, yeah, per child in the family, but still $1,000 when you're talking 7,000. I was in the same boat. Both my kids had braces and they were about 7,000 a piece.
I just paid so.
So that $1,000 is like a joke, but that's really all. The only time you can get an unlimited dental plan, even for braces, is on an HMO dental. There's a lot of HMO dentals out there. And the ones that they have an HMO dental, they have unlimited, they don't even have a 1,500 yearly like on the regular benefits, they have unlimited. But they're HMO dentals.
Is there like a medical savings account that they can?
Well,
Or is that
it's
just
they can do it.
It's HRA.
Well, the HRA is actually for the medical bills,
That's
okay?
what I thought you were saying.
Now, I don't know, do you guys have an FSA here by any chance?
No,
An FSA is a flexible spending account that you can use for, you can have a special use FSA that's for dental and vision only, because you have medical insurance here. So you can have a special use FSA that people can put money away to pay for braces. And some other features. That's a possibility, but as far as getting, great orthodontia covered on an insured medical plan, you're only gonna see $1,000 a year. That wasn't fair, making me compare it to a union plan.
Mine is.
Or, you know what, yours too, with Medicare to supplement, you don't pay anything. You don't
This is
do-
better than mine.
Yeah, this is great. This is great. But like I said, on a HMO dental plan, there's no lifetime maximums, there's no calendar year maximums, but the dentists are scarce. As far as finding someone to, and a lot of people aren't gonna switch their dentist. They'd rather switch a doctor than a dentist.
okay, John. Okay, John, I'm gonna move forward, because if there's no additional questions about our health insurance, at least at this moment, because not everybody in our plan goes with dental through us, so let's just hold off on that for a little bit, all right?
Okay,
I just want to make sure that everyone's aware of what's going on, so that when next month the renewal comes up, there's no question of, you didn't inform us of what we already have. What do we do? How do we do that? I didn't want the same repeat of it was last year. So thank you very much, John. And John will be with us next month as well, once he actually gets those numbers and we go to renew our insurance plan as well. Okay, so thank you very much, John, for being here with us.
you're welcome. Any other questions? No, thank you guys for your time. I'm gonna leave a few of these extra booklets here.
Thank you.
We did some electronic, but now you're gonna have them hard copy as well, okay? And my numbers in there as well. Like I said, there's a page in there with all our numbers and everything. Thank you guys for your time.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, men and ladies. Thank you. You too.
Thank you, John.
Thank
I-
you.
Business at this moment, nothing. Department reports. Highway Commissioner John Duza, how's life?
I can't find my sheet.
It's okay. You want Mike to go first?
He's got one. He's got it.
All right,
I've got nothing, Nikki.
Okay.
so brush pickup is complete. The next one is in October. The 9th mowing for the county is complete, and we're working on township mowing now. The recycling event is September 24th. Hope y'all can make and help volunteer. Got to be there about 4 to 8 o'clock for the short safety meeting. Event runs from 9 to noon. Working on drainage projects. The drainage project on Purnell is completed the last week of April. And we've received reimbursement from DuPage County for $20,000. Signed IGA with the state of Illinois for new streetlights at James and 59 and Edgewood Walk and Route 59. They're changing it's a different type of, like the structures you see along Route 64 for all the streetlights, stop, go signals. They're doing that along Route 59. And we partially own the streetlight at James and 59 and the one on Edgewood Walk in 59, which is also known as Joliet's right there. So we have to pay our portion, which is around $35,000. Which we're gonna use MFT funds to pay for. So we have now signed the IGA with the state. And that should be, they're working on engineering and final design, and they're going out for bids shortly, so hopefully, I think next year they'll do the project. And that's why they're doing all that work, like you see up at Gary's Mill in 59.
Yeah.
Improve the intersections, because they're gonna put a turn lane in. You'll have a turn lane either way coming off of Gary's Mill onto 59. It'll be a stop and go signal. Okay, At Edgewood Walk, there's gonna be a left turn lane to get onto Edgewood Walk. But they're also improving the type of structure, so holding up the lights. So, and then the paving bid was awarded to Brothers Asphalt. The pre-con meeting is next week, Monday. I thought it was today. It's next week, Monday at 9 o'clock in my office, and I'll have a better idea when they're gonna start. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Nikki, you got anything for your report?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was talking, but I was on mute. I apologize there, guys.
That's what I thought. That's why I nicely.
Little man was in the background screaming. I apologize there. Okay. For general assistance, no one from general assistance actually qualified this month round. So we did have emergency assistance, at least 2 for rent, 3 for utilities, pastor's fund, personal utility, as well as Salvation Army. The Township Officials of Illinois, their annual conference is going to be November 13th through November 15th. If anyone is interested in going, please let me know so we can actually book everything that you need to have and fees and all that stuff. Send me an email. Let me know that you'd like to be there or going. Another big thing, LARPA funds. We got approved for $247,473 that will be rewarded to us sometime in excuse me, end of September, beginning of October is when the county is supposedly be cutting out those checks. Because of that amount, excuse me, we have to do a budget amendment. Budget amendments, we have to do a newspaper ad in the paper for 30 days prior to the budget amendment. And so we're going to be having a special meeting on October 17th, probably at 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. for the budget hearing, and then when it's 6:15 for the actual proof or the vote to amend the budget. And the way that was broken down, just so you guys know, $100,000 was awarded for our bus. $140,000 was awarded for us to partner with Wayne Township in using their senior center with their seniors. And then $7,473 was awarded to us for our general assistance office, as well as John Duz's office for his road district office as well for COVID. Moving on to Ride to Page, they in August had 4 rides with 1 rider. We're waiting on the actual amount. Our senior bus has blown up in August. We had 139 riders, which equals out to 255 stops. I'm going to be sending you guys some information for sure compared last year to this year of what's been going on with the bus. We're talking right now at least over $1,000 a month in just gas for the bus at this moment. So that's going to be getting some of this money. $100,000 is definitely going to help with the cost of that a little bit. But of course, I'm going to be looking to purchase a new bus as well here shortly. And just working with John to get that done, as well as possibly even just building it straight from scratch from Ford or whoever we decide at that point. What else? At this moment, that's all I have on my department report, but definitely please let me know if you're interested in going to the TOI meeting in November so that we can get you going in that. And Mike, you said you had nothing to report?
Nothing.
Nothing. Hearing nothing else.
Adjourn. I'll
Motion
second.
to adjourn by, I'm sorry, who was that by?
Don Volz.
Donnie Volts, seconded by
John Heck.
Sean Hacker. Thank you. Any questions? You can call roll.
Trustee Volz.
Aye.
Trustee Hacker.
Aye.
Trustee Lucas.
Aye.
Trustee Electa.
Aye.
Supervisor Prater.
Aye, motion passes at 7:50. Thank you very much. Y'all have a good evening.
You say yay, I'm like, I heard one. All right, thanks, guys. End the meeting.
Yeah, bye-bye.